Today we're going to talk about a little something called stress resiliency. So last week we talked about vulnerability, how we are vulnerable, how we can be vulnerable to stress. Today we're going to talk about resiliency to stress. So,
Please.
You want me to go?
Should we start off by thanking Rob, though?
We do. I was actually going to read a little excerpt from his book.
Okay.
So, to honor Rob, thank him for teaching us about this, opening our eyes to it. What we're going to talk about here, when the allostatic load overwhelms the ability to adapt, meaning when the accumulation of all the stressors in your environment, whether it's physical, chemical, or mental, when those things start to overwhelm your body, you're in a state of stress vulnerability. So your body's ability to be resilient against those things is where stress resiliency comes in. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So thank you, Rob.
Dr. Robson,
Dr. Rob.
who is one of my all-time heroes.
Jake's
Next to Grandpa, of course. Which would be these two girls' as grandfather. Ladies, sorry.
Yeah.
So stress resiliency, it's your body's ability to adapt is the biggest thing. Obviously, stress vulnerability is when your body cannot handle the stress of life. And there are so many things that we cannot control. We can't always control time. We can't control, the stress of trying to get the kids to school or meetings or whatever. But when your body becomes completely overloaded, your body, the stress, is in a state of vulnerability. And that's when people fall into pain and sickness and issues and dis-ease, if you will. And so we're going to talk about the resiliency of the body, because your body's ability to adapt is the biggest thing you can focus on. You can't change a whole lot of that other junk and that crap in there. But your body's nerve system controls everything. You live your life through your nerve system. And the body's ability to adapt will help your body function and live in that crazy life. And we're going to talk about a little bit of chiropractic of how that benefits and how that can help the body adapt better. We talked about the bucket last week, and getting adjusted helps your body function. It's about life, it's stress, it's immune system, it's everything. So, please, ladies.
Here, I'll do it real quick. Why I'm off camera. I have stress vulnerability, right? That my body is not expressing health.
Yes.
My body is not functioning 100%, right, Angela?
Right.
And I'm in a state of lack of adaptability. I've lost my voice, so I'm actually yelling right now. Where these four are in a great state of stress resiliency because you're not being overloaded by that allostatic stress that you were talking about.
And we were bombarded by different germs and everything, and obviously if the germ theory were true, we'd all be dead, right? So
I said that like 100 times this week.
I know, right?
Or
Seriously.
the last week.
So as we talk about this more and more, it's the body's, you're bombarded by all these different things. And just because it's your body's ability to put up that wall and fend those things off. That's how you're going to be able to live. That affects your quality of life. That affects everything you do. So that way you can sleep.
Stress resiliency.
Stress resiliency is the biggest thing. So please.
Well, I think people function in a state of stress vulnerability or a state of stress resiliency. I'm going to ask who wants to answer my question off camera. Thank you, Angela. What do chiropractors we talked about this earlier, what do chiropractors, ones who practice like we do, like mom and dad do, how grandpa did, great-grandfather did, and all the relatives in your family, they practice, and what do they focus on, stress resiliency or stress vulnerability?
Stress resiliency.
There you go.
Anything to add?
I don't really have anything to add, but getting adjusted and staying resilient.
Other than our infomercial with Dr. Sennett's book there.
So the stress resiliency, like we've said, is your body's ability to adapt. So if you think about, most people think, oh well, as you get older, as you age, your body you break down. That's just the normal thing that happens. Well, if that is the normal thing that happens, we wouldn't see 80, 90, and 100-year-old people who are thriving, who are very bright and sharp still, and whose bodies are doing really well. You can look in Guinness Book of World Records and see 80, 90, and 100-year-old people doing different athletic feats and different things that they've accomplished that most people think of only maybe a 40 or 50 or 60-year-old being incapable of yet. Because after that, your body breaks down so much. But that just proves right there that the ability for the body to adapt is far greater than anything that we can comprehend in many ways. Most of us, those who aren't looking for these things.
If it was an age thing, everybody would age the same thing.
Mhm.
Their bodies would age the same way. So all the 40-year-olds would have this, all the 50, 60, 70-year-olds, they would follow the same exact pattern. But like you said, we take care of it.
I call that category health and category disease.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
You're spot on.
Yeah.
We take care of a young lady, she's 96, and she finally had to stop working 2 years ago because she's like, I'm not having any fun anymore. That's the reason why she stopped working. Not because she couldn't do her job, not because anybody pushed her out, because she is very sharp-minded and walks 2 miles every day. At 96, that's incredible. Most 50, 60, 7-year-olds would strive. They don't do that anyway, so continue.
Yeah, so that is the key. Now we have to ask the questions, what's different about them? Their body's ability to adapt to all the stressors in their lives, whether they had just a little bit or a lot, their body did a much greater job at adapting because it was more resilient to those things. So the better your body can adapt, the more resilient it is to all the different stresses that we have. And we're going to have more stresses every day going forward in our lives. We're not going to have less. That's obvious. There's more stresses in our world every day. But our body's ability to adapt can change. So we can increase those by, number one, making sure that the organ in your body that controls that, the nerve system, is functioning to its peak. When it's allowed to do that, you can add in some of those other key things that people say, whether it's drinking clean water, eating clean foods, all that kind of stuff. You can do those things to help, but if that nerve system isn't functioning at 100%, you can do all those things and still have a decreased resiliency. So that's the key to it.
Spot on. Okay.
So do it this year. This is what's interesting though. Well, what we have to do as chiropractors in this room and chiropractic assistants is really focus on that we help the body resist the stuff that bombards it every single day. What we want to do is we really can't, we want to make a bigger bucket.
Mm-hmm.
Because with the handheld things we have, with technology, I read an article 10 years ago how with the bombardment, the excess use of antibiotics, we've altered the genetic structure of viruses. They're already 1 million years ahead of alteration, and we're behind that. And so we've got to really focus on creating resiliency, and we do that by getting your spine and nerve system checked.
Mm-hmm.
So are you moving towards resiliency or are you moving towards vulnerability? And how do you check that? We have our fantastic substation scans, our HRV, allows us to tell how well your nerve system is firing, it's functioning, and if you're adapting well, and if you're moving towards resiliency or vulnerability.
It's called the adaptability focus paradigm. Ooh, that's next week's conversation, isn't it?
Sorry.
Very cool. So join us next week, 1:15 Tuesday. We'll be here again talking about the adaptability focus paradigm. See you then.
Hold on. Wait,
Hold on.
I just want to see how long you guys will sit there.
Jake commented on the
guys
Instagram and
look
he was
like
like, being a Husker
spring.
fan stressful.
Yeah, look at our colors. She's bringing us down.
Yeah, you guys are like very spring Easter colored.
Yeah, and you're like fall.
Mhm.
Wow.